Gacha villains. There's been several things on my mind recently on this topic, and I wanted to make a more structured video about this rather than just a ramble, so... where to even begin? Gacha has a problem with making villains, that is, in story, not design. Well, to see what I mean, why don't we first take a look at what a villain even is? I was surprised looking this up to find a bit of contrast on this topic in what I could find online, especially for real-life meanings. As someone who has been into fiction for so many years, I thought something like this was pretty straightforward, so follow my thought process here. A villain is a character in a story who opposes the hero, but more so their motives or evil actions drive the plot along. In contrast to the hero, a villain is often defined by acts of selfishness, evilness, arrogance, cruelty, and cunning, displaying immoral behavior that can oppose or prevent justice. One thing is for certain, that the villain stands at the opposite of the hero, and they are something the hero must defeat or in some way overcome. Now this definition is pretty loose, so where does it leave the Gacha villain? As we mentioned, the villain is the driving force behind the story, but even more than that, it is the driving force pushing the hero. A villain is the reason why the hero is forced to face their shortcomings, their weaknesses, their humanness. Some gachas already mess up here, when your villain is just too much of a grand, world-ending threat. You end up losing the personal undertones and opposites between the hero and the villain. I don't think I need to explain why that's a bad thing for story and character depth. Anyway, honing in on exactly the villains in gacha stories, let's take some case studies, and I want you all to follow along with me and come to the same conclusion on your own. Light spoilers ahead. Case 1. Zankou. This villain story hasn't concluded as of yet, but the discussions surrounding her were definitely one of the leading reasons for this video. Some people argue that since she's a villain, she shouldn't be playable. She tried to kill some of our main cast a couple times. And the second thing, people are sick of villain characters getting redeemed when it doesn't make sense, just so they can be on our side. Plenty of gachas are guilty of this. This is kind of the core of this video, so for now let's go to our Case 2. Crow. NIKKE's most hated villain. More than anybody else ever before, or after, or ever will be. I understand, I mean, she's just simply a terrorist. Her logic is self-serving and psychotic. She's simply a psychopath, fully embodying all the worst traits you can think of when hearing that term. What's not to hate? The fact that she's fictional. It's the fact that she's not real. That's what should call your hatred. Her existence is exactly correct, though. People like her are exactly the ones who can rile up a disgruntled, oppressed crowd. She's sick and twisted, but that's kind of the point. If we go back to the definition of a villain is opposing the hero. Crow is, in practically every way, the opposite of the NIKKE commander. But what's her impact? Well, she impacted other characters a lot more than the one she opposed. Crow had a strong setup, but fell flat by the end because she failed to do her role to lead the main character to growth. So she ends up being useless. Anyway, the hate for this character in the community is on another level. Shift Up knows that this character is just irredeemable and how much people hate her, so they just permanently lock her in jail and basically pretend she doesn't exist anymore. Selling anything for this character is not worth it to them, so why bother? Anyway, after about 2 years, Shift Up finally realized just how bad it is for their long story to have any villain character be something they're eventually gonna sell. So, they tried making the newest villains something that'd be less appealing, something that looks less human. That'll fix it, right? Oh my lord. I need her. Case 3. Valencina Rodya ID. Well, I know this one is where some people really get triggered. Valencina is a villain, one of the worst people actually, even in the horrible Project Moon universe. Rodya, or Rodyan, is one of the playable characters, adopts Valencina's place in one of her alt forms in the usual Limbus way. And in her short story, our Valencina Rodya uses the descriptor stuttering retard for a character that could very well fit that description. And she even drops it again later for a different character. Now, I understand some people are very averse to this stuff. However, reading this, did any of that feel out of place? No, not at all. In fact, it gave me an even better understanding of the depths of this character's derisiveness. But quite frankly, her using the word retard as a direct insult to someone doesn't even come close to the way more horrible stuff she does. Now, the counterpoint people have is, did she have to say it then? No, I suppose not. Did they have to depict every abusive scene they did? No, I suppose not too. This is a slippery slope. If we want to remove anything we find uncomfortable, what will we be left with? Nobody comes out of reading this story feeling happy that she used colorful language or that she's abusive. Anyway, some people are mad that it was specifically the Rodya ID that said this. It's not like our sinners are angels either, but to you I say, she is literally, completely and utterly embodying Valencina here. She simply is her, through and through. Didn't see you complaining about every other Nurse Father ID that released before her. Yi Sang literally tortured a motherfucker for no reason, and these other two exist. Situations like this are exactly the reason gacha companies end up with mild or boring villains. Conclusion. So, I do wonder if some of you came to the same conclusion as me. I'll give you a second to go and tell me in the comments. Oh, and while you're down there, shouldn't you like and subscribe too? Done? Alright, here's mine. Gachas want to sell popular characters, because people will want to buy those. If a gacha could choose between releasing a character that some people will like, and one that a lot of people would like, naturally they'd choose the latter. They're a business. They can catch an audience that is into a villain's mannerisms and style by having them show off some villainy, and then turn around and capture the other audience by giving the villain a tragic backstory and a chance at redemption. The whole misguided villain trope, yes. Because people that complain about villains being playable actually exist. Which is crazy to me, but they exist. People who straight up wouldn't pull a villain character just because they're evil. Gachas always benefit by attempting to make these villains at least somewhat likable as characters, not as just villains. And cases like these, with the community reactions, give these companies even more reason to make their villains either boring or as unappealing as possible. But anyway, that's the conclusion. They want to either sell you the characters, or they really don't want you being into them. After all, a player who doesn't pull and saves for a character that won't come out is useless to a gacha company. Just another thing ruined in these games just because they're a gacha. So, moral of the story to you, stop complaining about villains being evil. Please. Also, we don't need every villain redeemed to pull them. We don't need them to actually be on our side. Like, we don't need them to even be alive in this story to be pullable. Please. And please, share your final thoughts in the comments. This is something I'm interested in talking about, so I hope I can spark some discussion with you. And thanks for watching till the end. It really means a lot. Hope I can see you around on other videos too.